yeah, one thing I found interesting, and I'll go back over this, but like...
Are you an idiot? Why were you...
Are you an idiot? Are you kidding me? You literally did not see that wire? If we were walking through a booby-trapped house as a team, I would fucking make sure you die first, because you are a hazard to everybody in that situation.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen from Earth and Beyond. We are Choose Your Character, and we are a comedy podcast where we discuss our favorite things for your entertainment and ours.
Didn't we establish that last week?
We did, but I'm going to say it every time we talk.
They know who we are.
I guess.
I think.
They should.
Hello, 5 people out there. How are you?
Chris.
Hey, Joseph.
Chris just threw an object at a dog with playful intent.
Are we taking?
I actually threw her bone.
So yeah, I'm Marcucci.
I am Cowboy Mungie this week.
Howdy.
I'm Michael.
And I'm the only Chris.
Which Michael are you?
I don't know. Ask your mom.
Shout out to Patty.
I'm just kidding.
I'm really surprised. I'm not surprised you knew my dad's name, but I'm surprised you know my mom's.
I've seen her on Facebook, do the happy birthday.
Do your parents watch this? Listen.
No.
Okay.
My dad asked about it, and then it's just never happened.
Yeah, I don't know if my dad knows what a
All right.
podcast is.
All right.
We got a lot of topics today.
Anyway, we got a full show for you guys. So how are you guys' weeks going? It's been 2 weeks since episode 1.
Oh, I'm getting DMs every day.
Yeah, we our main character, our main profile on Instagram so far has 3 messages from fans.
No, 4. We got one last night.
We have
might have 4
one
now. Yeah,
and
one we got last night.
And they're all sex bots.
Yeah, well, yeah. So they're all sex bots that have been asking us to click their link, and for whatever reason, all 3 have had the pepper emoji at the end. So
because we're hot, I truly believe we are going to swing in the sex bot community.
I'm so excited. Spicy. I actually had I had my first Pakistani lover.
We have 4.
Over the last 2 weeks.
_Hawk guy. He messaged us last night. He had a very nice thing to say about us. So
infamous _.
Oh no, I know that guy. Shout out to my buddy Brendan. Who,
it's Brendan.
Thank you, Brendan.
Who will be an eventual guest on here because he is just a plethora of knowledge.
Because you owe him one.
Plethora.
He owes me one. What do you mean?
Because you owe him one.
Maybe.
A lot of banter.
All right.
So.
I thought you were a Hawkeye.
What are we getting into?
There's 2 Hawkeyes.
According to what we got, let's get into the box office for the week of the 27th.
Did anybody hear anything interesting this week?
Oh, did we hear anything interesting?
Did you guys watch anything interesting over the week?
State of the Union.
Well,
that was fun.
Into that.
Yeah.
This is not a political podcast. I refuse to address the State of the Union.
Anybody play the game Mr. President, where you have to save the president?
That's
we never
that's old by gold.
We always played that game.
What was his name on there? Rump, I think it was. You have to save.
It's like Ronald
Rump.
Yeah. Yeah, that was.
Remember that thing we used to do, Mr. President? All that.
Oh yeah,
that was the funniest thing ever.
During our high school days, we used to play a game called Mr. President, and we would all stand around in silence and put 2 fingers up to our ears like we were Secret Service, and the last person to do it would be Mr. President, and we would tackle them to the ground.
It was actually really fun.
Yeah.
I actually hurt my back once with that game, but it's okay. It's all right.
Because we have an actual potential presidential candidate sitting with us right now. We have the honor to introduce President Lambert.
You just have to feed into that, don't you?
I'm gonna drink a little bit more.
There's a Twitter account, President Lambert.
No, there was a Facebook account. That was from my senior year of high school. And
Phoenix Member Zero?
No, it was
for the first time.
Don't rip on him. It's we're literally how many minutes in? We're not even 10 minutes in, and you're already ripping on the poor lad.
I think it's 6 minutes. And
but
seconds.
I'll go through like a minute of that actually, just because that's good for my.
There's
persona.
a little bit we need to cut out at this point.
Well, I think we're fine. But so I mean, did you guys watch anything interesting? Did you start anything?
I'm starting to reread because it's going to come out again in May. I don't know if you've ever heard of Brian McClellan's Powder Mage series. It's literally my favorite series right now, and the last book's coming out in May. Currently, I'm rereading right now, but
is that a comic book?
It's a novel. It's a novel series.
Oh, okay.
It's very interesting. It's considered a flintlock fantasy, where fantasy in like Napoleonic era, so cannons, flintlocks, muskets. Yeah, go ahead.
I find that pretty interesting, actually.
Yeah, no.
I actually just got a novel in the mail by an author named C.W. Lemoyne. It's called Spectre Rising. It's a self-published series of books by himself. He's actually a former U.S. Navy and Air Force fighter pilot, him personally, and he wrote the books based on some of his experiences within being a pilot for the Navy and Air Force. So I'm actually really excited. He actually also does have a YouTube channel where he does like vlogs and all that. And he has some pretty cool videos of him in like F-18s and all that. So, C.W. Lemoyne, if you're ever interested.
I know someone that does vlogs. My buddy Keith Cook. He reviews Pop-Tarts.
How are they?
I think he has one so far. It was about 3 years ago. He did one on Subway sandwiches, which was a good one. It was a video of him walking to Subway.
Do you mind if you give me his YouTube so I can just I just want to double check.
Shameless plug.
I think it's
Chief Kleps?
No? Yeah, it's Chief Kleps.
He'll go on to a smattering, not one but 2 followers.
Yeah,
that's messed up.
I've also been reading. I've been getting back into pirate history. I love. I mean, it's obvious. I do love pirate stuff. I love pirate history and all that crap. I'm reading The True Story of Captain Kidd right now. If you want a historical recommendation, because Captain Kidd was badass.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a video on the Iranian Revolution today.
Argo?
No.
Oh.
Iranian. I think. I don't know.
No.
Argo
was Iranian Revolution.
Well, I just watched
it was the hostage crisis.
It's like a crash course video. I was doing it while I was waiting for other people to get to work today. So
I gotta switch my stance. Both my legs are asleep.
Oh my dear God. Anywho, so
we'll move on to the box office numbers for last week. Well, what do you guys think? Should we do what's opening this week or what happened last week?
What happened last week?
Yeah, we'll do last week and then let's go into this week.
All right, so the top 10 in the box office last week.
Holmes and Watson, fingers crossed.
I think that lasted about 3 weeks and was immediately gone. Top on the list is Glass. Just made about $9.5 million.
Really?
Not bad.
Yeah. It's not getting the reviews that both Split and Unbreakable did. It's like, last I checked, it was like a 44 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's not terrible, but it's also not good. But it's definitely
36.
36, so it went down. I mean, M. Night Shyamalan is not known for making works of art. I mean, God, what was the one with Bruce Willis? I See Dead People? The Sixth Sense. Yeah,
we don't want people screaming into the mic again. Apparently last week, we had like a bunch of people saying they were screaming at their phones and radios because we couldn't figure out that La La Land was the thing it lost to.
Oh yeah,
was the film that Moonlight lost to, and we're just having people just scream La La Land. It was goddamn La La Land.
It was
Three
La
of
La
those people
Land.
were Nick Gallo, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to Nick
Shout out
Gallo.
Nick.
No, not just Nick. I had other people tell me
I
too.
know, but he was.
Because the hostess with the mostest is a dopest.
I
don't do dope. I don't do dope.
What's your
How
question?
did Lego Movie?
I hope.
Oh,
Lego Movie just released Friday, so this is last weekend.
okay.
Yeah, this is February 1st to 3rd.
Yeah, that movie's it's obviously going to do great. Because
Yeah, it's
So far,
it's-
looking at its reviews, it's got an 84 on Rotten Tomatoes. That's
Yeah,
very
I was
good.
going to bring that
It's
up.
excellent.
So this second is The Upside. That was the one with Kevin Hart and Bryan Cranston.
I heard a lot of backlash about that because they didn't like Bryan Cranston playing somebody who was disabled. They wanted somebody who was actually disabled to play that role.
Well, who did they want to play Stephen Hawking?
So I mean, but the character Bryan Cranston played was a quadriplegic that couldn't would choke on his food. That he was that
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to find an actor that even has the time to do that.
Yeah. What was the word? I think the word was ableist.
Ableist is it's being prejudiced towards people with disabilities.
Yeah.
But anyway, I saw it. I thought it was good. Kevin Hart's movies tend to not have any weight. They tend to just be Kevin Hart movies.
Well, because he's mostly revolved around comedy, so I would assume this would be one of his first actual dramas, so to say.
It was more of a dramedy. I mean, it had some pretty heavy points, but not to reveal too much. But I mean, Kevin Hart was a convict that was looking for a job after being released from prison. So he had to get so many signatures that he was actually looking for a job, so he wasn't sent back in.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he ended up working for Bryan Cranston, ABCD, XYZ comes,
Yeah.
EFG.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
EFG?
Interesting.
Doom? Are we talking about Doom?
Oh my God.
I'm down to talk
We're
about
not
Doom.
talking about Doom.
So number 3 was Miss Bala. Not sure what that word is.
Gina Rodriguez movie.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what it was about? Or?
Well, yeah, no, I couldn't tell you what it's about. I just know it's that Gina Rodriguez movie, and it's got a 25 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Good stuff.
Nice and,
well, number 4 is still Aquaman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it got 4.8 million over the weekend.
Jeez.
It's a slow weekend. I mean, the top was 9.5 million. That's a really slow weekend. Then we had Spider-Verse at number 5.
Spider-Verse was amazing. I think we definitely talked about that last week.
I haven't seen it yet.
I still need to see it. I'm so happy for it.
It's the concept, the art style is
I've heard so many good things about
it. They also fed the Raimi fans into that too, because you had all the I'm sorry, I keep adding filler. From Tobey Maguire just doing the dance in Spider-Man 3. They added that into
that part of the universe in those movies, which I thought was really nice touch.
Yeah. This was kind of, I think, Sony's bounce back after a lot of people criticized Venom. And then when this came back, what was?
Let's not go giving Sony too much credit here.
Can you actually look up what the Rotten Tomatoes?
A movie
about Aunt
May?
Yeah, Spider-Verse is still holding at
as long as it's the one from.
Because it's a very good.
If it's Homecoming's Aunt May, yeah, I would watch the hell out of that movie.
What was that?
Homecoming's Aunt May. What's the actress's name?
I forget.
Can you look it up real quick before we get yelled at again?
All right, well,
so actually, remember that World War I movie that was supposed to come out?
That's a number 10. Not to spoil, but that's it. Yeah.
It's 99% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wait, They Shall Not Grow Old.
Thou Shall Not Grow Old.
It was.
Yeah,
the funny thing is, it's on number 10. It was only for limited screenings. Those weren't straight weeks at a time.
But that was the same with
days.
That was the same with the Mr. Rogers movie.
Yeah,
it was limited screenings.
So what they
still blew out.
So basically, what they did was they remastered and colorized World War I.
Peter Jackson took on the huge challenge of finding all this old World War I film,
which is already impossible.
Which is already hard with all this decay, and not fully, but still restored it to the point there are different people in these films.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I gotta buy a copy the second it comes available.
I definitely need to watch that.
Well, there's usually screenings in Philly. They tend to do a lot.
There were actually 2 at UA.
Like The Room.
Really?
Yeah, like The Room.
My favorite.
Speaking of
experience.
The Room, Tommy Wiseau has a shark movie coming out. He announced it today.
Oh,
The Big Shark.
Yeah,
is that what it's called?
I watched about
it's a
30
baby shark.
I watched about 30 seconds of the trailer. And so it starts out, Tommy's sitting at a table with Greg. Greg gets slapped by a girl, and then they're standing in the street, and water, it comes over them, and it is about ankle deep. And Tommy goes, "Oh, water." And then behind them, a girl gets attacked by a shark in the middle of the street. So I haven't seen.
Yeah, I was about to say Sharknado.
I haven't seen Best Friends yet or Best Fiends. I'm so excited. I love Tommy Wiseau.
For the few people who don't know who Tommy Wiseau is, he is famous for what is considered the greatest worst movie ever made.
Yeah, it's the topic of The Disaster Artist with James Franco.
And it developed such a cult following. I suggest everybody go to a room screening in Philadelphia or whatever screenings are available in your area. But go to Philadelphia or whatever screening, because there is a cult tradition to these movies that just make it so enjoyable. When me and Mike went to one of these showings, the first time we heard it was, what was the first line in the movie?
Oh, it's "Hi, babe."
Oh, hi, babe. So the first thing someone yells out is, "What do you say to a pig?" And then it's just, "Oh, hi, babe."
Yeah, it's an experience in itself, and it's just a whole lot of fun. It's ritualistic in nature, just to say the least. But so we're gonna move on. I forget what number I was on. We're on Spider-Verse. So Green Book is at 6. The Kid Who Would Be King is at 7, which was the King Arthur movie. I don't think it's doing well. A Dog's Way Home was at 8, and Escape Room's at 9.
I really hope that dog found out how to get home.
Yeah.
It most likely did.
And number 10 was They Shall Not Grow Old. So we already talked about that one.
Nice.
So opening this weekend, on the top was the Lego Movie, which is at an 84.
Nice.
Everything is indeed awesome.
Yeah. I want to see it. I enjoyed the first one. I enjoyed the Batman spinoff. I thought that was a lot of fun, even though, I mean, I fell asleep during the Batman one, but that was just because I got home from work. But still.
Didn't Will Arnett get a spinoff? The Lego Batman movie? Was he the voice of Batman?
He's the voice of Batman.
Yeah.
He was?
Yeah.
I like that because Will Arnett was absolutely hilarious as Batman.
Yeah.
He played a great Batman.
It's good stuff.
He's better than Val Kilmer, I know that.
Okay.
What about Clooney?
The nipples, you can't.
Bat nipples.
It's a given.
When I took a trip of Warner Brothers Studios in LA, I saw Bat nipples.
Will Arnett's not better than Iceman.
Well, Will Arnett definitely has better nipples.
Hey, Batman, chill.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
Well, speaking of Cold Pursuit was at 74%. That's Liam Neeson's movie that was basically shot down because of his controversial statement last week. Yeah. Well, I mean,
we won't dig into it because if you want to know what his controversial statement was, look it up. Liam Neeson was trying to get back into comedy because he said he was, I think after 8 Taken movies, he wanted to just stop doing dramas.
He wanted to go back to the days of Love Actually.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a throwback.
The days of Nell.
But believe it or not, you know who helps him out is Seth MacFarlane. Was what changed his mind because he started doing comedies. Because he was the main villain in Once Upon a Time in the West. A Million Ways to Die in the West. I apologize.
Is that this? Well, you said Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah.
I for whatever reason it registered as Seth Rogen.
I can't do a great Seth Rogen laugh.
There's a video on YouTube of the Cantina song from Star Wars, but it's Seth Rogen's laugh. So it's So number 3 was What Men Want. That's the one with Tracy Morgan, and I'm not sure who the actress is on the front, but she's holding 2 balls in her hand. I only can guess what that means.
I'm gonna go with Tiffany Haddish.
Yeah,
that's not the song.
That's at 47%. Cold Pursuit's at 74%.
What's the name of the movie?
What Men Want. So number 4 here on Rotten Tomatoes is The Prodigy, which is a horror movie. The poster reminds me of Hereditary.
Taraji P. Henson.
Is that the actress for What Men Want?
Yes.
Okay. Dead air. Okay, so The Prodigy, which is a horror movie, I have no idea what that is. The next, at number 5, you're going to like this one. The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then Bigfoot.
Oh my God! Yes.
Wait, where can I see this movie?
I mean, it's at 74 on Rotten Tomatoes. It released on the 8th.
So actually, I want to know, like, what is this movie?
Is this Sam Elliott's movie?
Yeah, it's Sam Elliott.
Oh my god, yeah, I've heard about this. I am so excited to watch this movie because it's so stupid. It's like a B movie that got the budget.
Oh my god.
It reminds me of David Hasselhoff's.
We can't explain this because the title explains it all. I don't think I could properly explain it, but it's literally like that B movie plot.
It has Sam Elliott.
The B movie?
Sam Elliott's in
My favorite voice ever because it's just low and sultry. Like,
I think I brought this up the last podcast, but I finally watched The Big Lebowski a few weeks ago. Like, actually sat down to watch it. I love it.
So
It's
apparently,
I've never seen that movie.
So apparently, I wanted to be the Big Lebowski for this Halloween. Apparently, his sweater is fucking expensive. $80 for like the knockoff.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
At least I can make my right reference.
Sweaters are hard to come by. Okay, so okay, we'll move on to so it was announced this week or last week. We all saw it coming. Ben Affleck is done as Batman, supposedly.
Type F to pay respects.
Yeah, F to pay respects.
Have some goddamn F.
Oof, as our friends over at Roblox say.
Our friends.
We do not have friends in Roblox.
I mean, I played
Don't be
Roblox.
surprised.
I had my first online girlfriend with Roblox.
Oh my god. So did Keith.
That's good.
Oh no, that was his online boyfriend.
What?
Remember when we did it?
I mean, we did play Roblox at 3 o'clock in the morning that one time.
I want to clarify that I did not have an online girlfriend in Roblox because I never played Roblox.
I loved Roblox, but the last time I played it was about 3 years ago.
Yeah, I'm not offering an explanation because Roblox is just that cringy. No one deserves to know what that is.
Paul got me to play it one time.
Sound. So yeah, and we played at 3 o'clock in the morning. We were role playing in high school when at that point we were both graduated. So we got to relive that. We got banned because we went into this one girl's house and she got upset. Yeah. I do know that I got a skateboard, so that was cool.
You were a skater boy?
And yeah, I had a girl say, "See you later, boy."
All right.
That wasn't good enough for her.
So,
Even Indy didn't like
done.
that joke.
But yeah, so yeah, Batfleck. Yeah, I mean, we all kind of saw it coming. I mean, I think it's good for him since he was really not doing the best.
Yeah,
it's public knowledge by now that those DC movies fucking suck.
Yeah, but at the same time, I
really, really bad.
I hope Ben Affleck does make a recovery, and the fact that he publicly admitted it can have other people.
I mean, what do you have? You have now Batfleck out, and you have Henry Cavill out.
Yeah, but
Henry
Cavill
Cavill
was just a rumor. I don't believe he's actually.
I don't think Henry
think
Cavill was actually confirmed for it because a lot of people were saying that he was giving up Superman to be what was his name?
Yeah, no, those rumors were not confirmed. Henry Cavill did put on Instagram as a joke, and I do appreciate that he is a good sport because it's just weird clown music with him sadly holding up a Superman figure and then just sadly putting it back down again with this weird clown music going in the background.
Yeah, Henry Cavill did not confirm that he was leaving.
Well, he's playing Geralt of Rivia in the Witcher series on Netflix.
Which is getting backlash already because of how cheap it looks, but it's a costume.
There was a teaser
test.
of him in costume. It doesn't even look like. I mean,
it looks like Henry Cavill in a wig.
Look, when you make a video game adaptation of anything, you're gonna have the community just be like, bleh.
I mean, because video game adaptation, like film and TV video game adaptations, just notoriously don't work out well. Because you get movies like the Mario Brothers movie, which I don't think anyone likes to talk about. Yeah, so I mean,
yo, paisanos.
I was seeing reports about how people wanted, evidently the Penguin is going to be in the movie. I don't know if that's confirmed.
Danny DeVito?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it really going to be in the video?
No. I mean, I saw some place was like Steve Carell should play the Penguin.
No, it should be Danny DeVito.
I mean, I saw another. I think it was also comicbook.com. It was like Jack Black.
Yeah.
I could see it. Not so much Steve Carell because I could not take. I
You
watched.
don't want to see Groot in Gru from Despicable Me as the Penguin.
Well, no, I saw a Beautiful Boy, which is a Steve Carell movie that released last year, produced by Amazon, about his son gets addicted to meth and is like his struggles of like, dealing with a kid that's addicted to drugs. And like there's the entire movie is really serious, and there's a scene where Steve Carell starts yelling at his son, and I only hear Michael Scott. That's all I hear.
Okay, that's enough.
I declare bankruptcy.
Well, like he starts screaming "stop" and "no," and like when he screamed "no," I was like, "Is he talking to Toby?" Because it sounds like the Toby episode.
No,
I
God,
argue
no.
the way that you are.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's a serious movie, but like Steve Carell is so like
It's almost like he's typecasted.
Yeah.
So speaking of typecasts, did anybody see the preview of that limited series on TBS with Daniel Radcliffe?
I did with
So-
Steve Buscemi as God.
Yeah, Steve Buscemi is God, and Daniel Radcliffe is an
Send
angel.
me back.
Yeah.
I'll send you the link because I think the first episode doesn't come out until this week. But it's just like it's on TBS, which is like but it's just like you have Steve Buscemi as God.
When you have Conan O'Brien leading your network, I mean,
Is he leaving the network?
TBS? I'm pretty sure.
I did not know that.
Well, Conan was good enough for NBC, so
Conan O'Brien is very funny.
I love
Conan
Conan.
is one of my favorite.
yeah. But didn't he lose that big feud? I think we're in high school when that feud happened between
was with,
him,
Jay.
Jay.
Why
Leno.
wouldn't you want Jay Leno over Conan O'Brien?
I don't know. His chin
Joey-
was too big for two people. I don't know.
But yeah, Conan.
It's a
O'Brien
great
is a
impression.
very-
I know,
yeah.
man. It
Who was it?
was Jay Leno.
Okay. All right. So
moving on.
after Batfleck, why did you put up Fuller House? I didn't even
Because
notice
it's
that. Why
ending.
is Fuller House a topic?
It's ending in season 5. The first season sucked, but I enjoyed it
never seen
afterwards.
How did I miss that? I'm just like, no, I'm not talking about Fuller fucking House.
I mean, it was okay. I like Joe.
Was it really on air for 5 years? It does not feel like
I think it did like
Netflix years is like
two
dog
seasons
years,
in a
so.
year.
Oh.
But I don't know. I like looking at Jodie Sweetin. That's
Oh
all I'm
my
gonna
dear
say.
God.
I like looking at God, what was his name?
Bob Saget.
No, not Bob. Saget, the other
I mean, I like
John
looking at John
Stamos.
Stamos too.
Yeah, I like looking at John Stamos.
I think we
too.
all
It would have
do.
been a lot funnier if I remember his name.
There was an episode in the recent season where John Stamos. So in the last season, John Stamos adopted a baby because they don't have Nikki and Alex anymore. Because
So he adopted a baby naturally.
Yeah, he adopted a baby with Becky, and it made me kind of cringe because it was like millennials episode because it was John Stamos taking his kid to the park and a millennial father played by Josh Peck was there.
Oh, God.
And he's like, he like John Stamos like was in charge of snack day and he brought donuts and they're like, no, you're supposed to have vegan stuff, soy, blah blah blah, blah. And it was like an entire episode dedicated to taking shots on millennials, which I kind of skeeve at because like that's so overdone at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only time I've actually had people say is like, "Oh, these aren't the ingredients we agreed on. We're middle-aged mothers."
Yeah.
Yeah, the boomers.
But that's just arguments for another day.
Yeah.
So can we? Yeah.
Can you sit closer to the microphone,
So Sisto,
please?
it is time to enter the danger zone.
So if any of you follow our page on Instagram, I did post a video to our page of an overly hyped Michael Sisto wearing aviators about to play Ace Combat 7. This was my first Ace Combat game ever.
What's joystick support?
Okay, hold on,
It's
because
HOTAS #1.
this is between us. Because you've only played Ace Combat 7. I've been playing since Ace Combat 4, which is all the way back to 2005, or actually 2008.
That's 3 games ago.
Yeah,
No,
but
it's
it's
not.
been
No, it's not.
no.
more
Technically,
games in
it's
between.
5. There's
Really?
been 5 games in between.
it
Ace
like-
Combat 0 and Ace
Is
Combat
it like
Infinite.
Kingdom
as well.
Hearts where
That's
there's like
the other
13
number of
games?
Yeah,
and
there's
only-
Ace Combat 5, The
Ace
Unsung War,
Combat
Ace
Chain of
Combat, The
Memories.
Balkan War,
Ace Combat Infinite.
Ace Combat Infinite,
Ace Combat 0 is the
6.
Balkan War, right?
Yeah,
The Balkan War.
the
whatever
Balkan
it
Wars. But how did you feel about? Did you notice JPEG Dog in the meme in Ace Combat 7?
I did not. I only
So-
played. Disclaimer: I've played 13 hours of game time. I've only gotten to mission 7 on the campaign because I've spent all of my time.
Did you
playing
hit a wall?
multiplayer. What?
Did you hit a wall at all?
Did I hit a wall?
Like when you go into a mission and you just can't beat it, and so you kind of take a break.
Yeah.
That's
Mission
what
2.
happened. That's what happened with me. And which is why I haven't continued it, because there's a mission where you literally. All right, no, I'm making a statement now because this aggravates me this much. Chris is giving me the look. Stop having escort missions in Ace Combat. I am in a jet, $1 billion fucking vehicle. I am not escorting a car across
Maybe
town.
more.
Are you talking about the space escalator mission?
No, not the space escalator mission. There's another mission in town where you have to escort
I have so many questions.
a high-profile individual out of town, and like you're fending him off against tanks and shit, and it annoys the hell out of me because I'm just like, no, I do not have the right to just waste my fucking time. Stop having those escort missions.
I literally
Mike's
got
trying to
so,
calm me down.
I got so annoyed with the difficulty curve that I literally grinded. I grinded on the multiplayer just to get the F-22 Raptor. I
need
grinded
to.
for about 8 to 9 hours.
I'm
just to
going
get
to
the
start grinding in
F-22.
Single Plague more because I'm going to waste all of my tech into the FA-22 because that is a beautiful fucking
I
shit.
know.
Can I make a general statement about all escort missions? Video game developers, please don't have the main character's walk animation be faster than any of the NPCs. Make it the same. Allow your character to speed walk. That'll work.
That's why I like Red Dead Redemption 2 because
That's
and
that's
Red Dead
why
Redemption.
I like Rockstar games because all the walk animations are the same speed as everyone else.
And you can also hold the button to just follow a guy walking.
Yeah,
Or on
and
a
like,
horse.
So I was playing the recent Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I was like, I had to follow a character, and in the new Assassin's Creed they took out the walk animation entirely, which I don't get it. So your character immediately goes into a sprint. So the other character is walking, and like I'm just like sprinting laps, running back and forth.
Why would you get rid of that in the game?
They did a lot of things to that game that I'm not proud
But
of.
yeah, how do you feel about Ace Combat's multiplayer system?
I love it.
Because
I've really good.
I've yet to play it, and I'm
It
always
is so good.
You know why I'm shy about doing Ace Combat multiplayer?
Why?
Because my first match ever was when 6 came out, and that was the one that actually had a separate joystick and purchase and whatnot. But I played multiplayer, started the match. I couldn't even see the enemy as a pop-up icon. And somebody shot a single goddamn
You got
beam
hit
at
with a
like
railgun.
he shot me with a railgun
got hit
before
with
his
an EML.
reticle came up. I didn't even see him as
That
an
happened
enemy
to
yet.
me too, and I was like, "What was going on?" Honestly, I love the game. The game is very well done. The story is
Stories in Ace
so
Combat are
Japanese,
always
man.
very Japanese, which
it
is why I
so
like.
hokey. There's the one scene where they were going over that one guy's name, and he literally said his full name in dialogue, and I was like, "Why is that a part of this cutscene?" Like,
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's actually the JPEG dog scene.
That-
So if anybody
that's
doesn't know, there's a. Okay, I'm sorry. I got distracted with what Chris was saying, but JPEG dog is a meme. That there's a very beautifully Japanese animated because that's what it is. And then you hear a dog barking animation, and then it just cuts to like these 3 people who are in motion and everything, and right next to them is just a cutout of a golden retriever. Yeah, so we're talking about Ace Combat's JPEG dog in this beautifully animated scene, which Ace Combat has been doing a lot better in their animation, and they've been doing it really well since Ace Combat 5. That's the first one that they actually had fluid animation. But the issue is, in the middle of a scene, there's like a woman coming off a plane,
and then there's a bark animation. Like, you don't see the dog, but you just hear the bark. And then it just cuts to, like, them all together talking, and there's, like, fluid animation while she's talking. And there's just a single solid picture of a golden retriever, like, with the mouth open and tongue down. So it's obvious it's not moving.
I'm going to be that guy.
I noticed that as actually, like, a dog. I didn't think anything of it.
I thought it was so funny. I'm just like, wait, did it freeze? I mean, oh no, the dog's just a picture.
I thought it was an actual dog.
I'm going to be the guy to say that sounds aren't animations.
What did I say? Okay, all right. There was just a soundbite of a dog barking.
Mike went to college for this thing strictly to correct us about it.
My 4 years of college and my over $100,000 in debt to say that
29.
That's not an animation. That's a soundbite.
Oh my god.
Anywho,
moving on.
No, we're not moving on.
Okay,
we're still talking about Ace Combat.
Yes, we were talking about Ace Combat's. You started the multiplayer.
Yes.
And before we were interrupted, I wanted to mention I didn't play the multiplayer yet, and I'm always like restrictive of playing Ace Combat multiplayer because I was playing against like real pros, and that was my first match with when 6 came out. And the match just started, and I got shot instantly by the goddamn railgun. And the railgun you don't have to aim, it just carries on forever. I was shot before my reticle came up.
You do have to aim.
Yeah, well, you have to aim. You don't need a lock on.
Exactly.
And it pissed me off because this guy was so fucking good. He can aim without me. I think it's because guys like that memorize the start points. Oh, yeah. So I was just like, no, just
absolutely
give me away.
I mean, that's an all multiplayer game. It's like Chris and I play Rainbow Six, and it's constant that every time, like especially in casual, since you don't pick your start area, you'll have people peeking out the windows, and the second you spawn, you get headshotted.
Yeah, and I think like one of the issues real quick with that is that like because it's so easy for you to die in the game, and they keep it so realistic, if you just basically knock a window out and you start shooting at the people outside and it kills them instantaneously, it takes away the actual fun of the game. Because in, like, let's say a real SWAT situation, you have snipers everywhere ready for them.
In a real SWAT situation.
So I know I said all these good things so far about how the gameplay was great. I enjoyed every second of it.
And they didn't add all the bullshit. I'm sorry, sister.
No, you're good.
They didn't add all the bullshit that was in between 5 and 6. The one that actually had real continents on it. Where it was just like, oh, you can actually do a dogfight mode where you don't lock off. It pissed me off because it completely drew away from this arcade style realism that it had. And just went full on into arcade, and it took away so much for me. And they brought back like the classic Ace Combat mechanic, and I thought it was so well done.
Which brings me on to my next point, where it's the 7th numbered installment of this game. However, if you were literally looking for a game to play and you were always like into fighting jets and all that, this is the perfect game for you to pick up. You don't have to have any knowledge of the story beforehand.
Yeah, you don't have to at all. No, but in case you don't know, Ace Combat is a
it's like a JRPG in fighter jets.
Yeah, at jet fighting simulator / arcade. They did have a lot of realistic jets, and as well as a few fantasy ones as well.
Yeah,
the SU edits.
The Wyvern.
Yes.
Those are all... And actually, Kodo Bouquet is making models of these, too, which I think is pretty interesting.
Did you pre-order it?
I didn't yet, no.
I'm
thinking of getting the Wyvern, but...
Yeah. But did you pre-order the game when you bought it?
No, I didn't.
So, I pre-ordered the game. And the only reason I pre-ordered it, not because of the unlocked jets, if you pre-order it, you get Ace Combat 5. For you, because you had Xbox One,
I could also buy it over PSN and I'd get it.
Yeah, but for you, for having Xbox One,
you get nothing.
No. If you pre-ordered it, you got 6.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which was a remaster.
So moving on to, I'm just gonna go over some of the negative things about the game. I want to say it's not Xbox One enhanced. It's not Xbox One X enhanced, which is I don't have an Xbox One X. However, game that good from Bandai Namco, it should be Xbox One X enhanced.
That's
before you go in. It only runs at 720p on an Xbox One X. Exactly, but it runs at 960p on the regular PS4, which I can see because Ace Combat is traditionally a PlayStation game, but I feel like if you're gonna put a game out on every console, you can now, like including PC, instead of just holding it to PlayStation. I think you should at least keep it standard with the rest of the games. Also, it does only run at 1080 on PlayStation 4 Pro and Xbox One X, which I think is a big turnoff because it's not one Xbox One and X enhanced, so it really can't run native 4K. So that's really disappointing.
Yeah, I mean I haven't played the game yet, but I read the reviews when it initially came out, and all the people were complaining about how it wasn't
HOTAS supported.
Well, that, and also because it didn't seem like it was a good port over to PC.
And you pissed off the PC player, so naturally it's a shit game.
No.
That's what always pisses me off about PC
I'm going to call
reviews.
these PC people out real quick, because if you had a good enough graphics card, you could run that game. They demoed that game before they even dropped on the PC in 4K, and it looked great.
I will defend at least that, because even if you have a good graphics card, if a game isn't ported correctly, it'll run shitty.
Well, you saw
Well, here's what you can do. You can not play your PC, get the game for the PS4 or Xbox, and stop being a sniveling bitch.
I hate seeing these PC elitists.
Chris and I have been called out.
Hold on.
PC
I want that air.
absolute
I want that air
elitists.
for this. I want that air for this. Served.
PC people are absolutely elitist when it comes to gaming. It's like you can't even mention to a PC person that you play on a console because they'll get so anal about it.
Like,
I mean, there are the PC Master Race
like,
guys.
just have fun and play Counter-Strike on your PC, but let us play Ace Combat on our PS4.
Yeah, you get your Counter-Strike, you get your Team Fortress 2.
I mean, they're elitists on both sides. You definitely have console elitists that like.
Yeah, you have a lot of people who.
I'm not a console elitist.
Well,
I'm just broke.
I'm not
yeah,
saying
right?
you are.
But moreover, my last point before I turn it over to some more open discussion is that I want to say that the lobby system in multiplayer is somewhat annoying, because every time it's so annoying because there's not many lobbies open because not many people play the multiplayer yet. Because I'll be honest, I don't think many people on the Xbox One bought that game because it's such a niche game, you know. So like, the few people that did, I have fun playing with. However, the lobby system is so annoying because you can't sortie with. Excuse me. Everybody has to be ready for you to go into a sortie, which means that if somebody leaves the chat and comes back in, you got to go through that whole process all over again. Which it just takes. Sometimes it'll take 4 to 5 minutes just to go from one sortie to another, and it's just.
I feel like that's Japanese created games always have a lobby issue.
Plus, I'm pretty sure it's
a
peer-to-peer connection versus a server connection.
Because you know what was annoying as balls? Mm-hmm. Monster Hunter.
Yeah. No,
I heard about that.
Trying to have like anybody play with you on Monster Hunter.
Nazi Hunter.
Montium.
Monster Hunter.
Shut the fuck up.
It's okay. We're all Italian. We're allowed to.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, so the lobbies are very annoying. I've never had an issue with server connection, even if the highest guy has 3 bars on his connection. I've never had an issue with service connection. The host migration is very smooth, if there is one, and the gameplay is really nice. All the graphics are well done. Flying through clouds is the coolest fucking thing ever.
If you're in a cockpit view, it actually registers the fact that you fly in a cloud.
You also hit...
So you literally get in, and there's mist, and you can't see shit.
Exactly. And you lose track of people on radar if they fly through the clouds.
Yeah,
which I think
because
is
that's
really
what actually
accurate.
happens.
And then also, last thing I'll add on this is that you can get struck by lightning.
Oh my god, no. I did it in the middle of a dogfight. I went through a storm cloud, and I got struck, and I was like, oh shit. Everything went off.
Exactly.
I'm just like,
So it does
exactly.
So does it have like a system where like you can reset, or are you SOL if you get struck?
You're SOL until it reboots itself.
You can also do post-stall maneuvers. So you can stall your plane and then hit what's called a Cobra move or a Cobit move. So,
where you literally
can only
intentionally stall your plane.
But you can only do those in certain plays, which makes grinding even that more rewarding.
Yeah.
So the game is very tastefully done.
I do, and I also love the fact most
tasty.
people
it really
complained about that factor that you had to upgrade and buy your parts to your plane.
I love that they finally added that much detail to your planes.
To be honest, it's not something people should be complaining about because it's not like you're paying for extra for it. You have to grind.
Like
there's
other
no way
than the
to buy.
FA-22, I love the SU. Mm-hmm. The SU, I think it was like the SU-37.
I think 47 Terminator.
47.
The SU-47.
The SU-47, but it was clunky.
And
the thing is, though, I can buy parts to not make it clunky, and that's what I love about it.
So I like they added descriptions to most of the planes. So the game is held in a place called Strange Real, which is like a spin-off of Earth. So nothing is really...
I thought it was George Orwell's. 1984, because you had like the Osea and the...
Well, in general, it's a spin-off of Earth regardless. Yeah. But... The game is really cool because it touches into the plane's bios, and these are real planes. Like you fly an F-16, F-15J,
oh my God,
F-18 Hornet. Like these are all games that you F-14 Super Tomcats. Like, and they manage the bios as to where it's almost like they were created in Strange Real and not in the real world. So last off, I just want to say that Ace Combat deserves its ratings. And it's been getting an 8 out of 10, 80 on Metacritic. Very good game.
8, 9 out of 10 is what I would give it.
Very good game.
Okay, so moving on to classic. Classic. What would I call this? Ranger Mungee's classic cowboy God damn it! I already ruined it.
Ranger Mungee.
Classic Cowboy Corral review of.
Just call it Woody's Roundup.
All right, Woody's Roundup of Red Dead Redemption 2, because I just screwed up my introduction. Damn it. All right. Just add Big Iron over the audio. It'll be fine.
Okay.
I wanted to talk about Red Dead Redemption 2 because we didn't talk about it last time because of the Oscars and Razzies.
Well, so have you guys played it at all?
Yeah. Let me give you my quick story with it. I bought it for Xbox One, played it, liked the tutorial modes, and I traded in because I got bored.
And Chris has yet to buy.
We would like to announce Sisto's departure from the podcast.
Yeah, I'm the most entertaining one of us.
Okay, so and Chris has yet to play it. I know this, despite the fact that we were waiting for this game for 10 goddamn years.
So
and no. I have airtime to call you out on this now. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
You've been letting him hear the whole damn podcast, for God's sake.
So real quick, just so I get a little bit of time on my defense. So what I've been doing with my PlayStation games is I haven't been on for a while because I've been with college. I wrote a senior paper and stuff like that. So I've been very busy.
You've been with your girlfriend 24/7.
So I wrote my senior paper.
Don't call him out on that.
And I've also
cut that out.
been doing. I don't care. It's fine.
It's a joke.
But
I love you, Kylie. You're sweet.
You're a sweetheart. Shout out to my girlfriend.
Shout out to Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry.
Anyway.
How's he doing?
Anyway.
Oh,
very inside joke. Shout out to episode 1.
Stop. All right, no, because we can't talk over each other.
Can we just cut this entire banter out? Because this is a train
this whole thing.
Okay,
right,
starting right now. So, real quick. Because I haven't been on PlayStation because of college and stuff like that. But then also, one of the things I've been doing on PlayStation is I've been trophy hunting a lot. And one of the games that I've actually been working on is Fallout 4. And if you don't know about Fallout 4, a lot of the trophies on the game are just very time consuming. Like one's like you have to get like 100,000 tickets, and that took me like a week or two of work. Fallout 4.
Oh.
So I mean, I really do want to play, but I know if I get into any other game, I'm just going to open up another can of worms.
You're the last person I know playing Fallout 4 right now. So.
Yeah. Well, I have one more achievement. Or no, I have 2 achievements. The one is to reach, to kill 40 people, or to kill 40, like, Nuka monsters under the effects of a cola mix.
Okay.
And then the second one, which is a really old one that I've always had an issue with, was the maximum settlement happiness one. Because for some reason, my save file is either corrupted or there's a glitch that because it's such an old save file.
It's Todd Howard telling you to play 76.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'll crunch into my time just making this
It just
point
works.
because I want to make my issue for the Far Harbor DLC. And this falls into cowboy stuff, because they have a lever action revolver that was released for the Far Harbor DLC. Do you know what gun I'm talking about?
Yes.
So, when it came out, this is what pisses me off. If I fire 2 shots, or even 1 shot, and I hit the reload action, do you know what happens?
What happened?
5 rounds go into the goddamn gun.
So it's not really a lever action.
No, it's it's bang, and instead of putting one round into the chamber like you're supposed to do, or one round into the slot, it does it 5 times. So if I fire one shot and I have 4 bullets in there, I still do the full 5 bullet reload action. And it pissed me off. And I thought, after a couple updates, I actually did this last month because I wanted to see if it still worked. And no, I fired the gun and it reloaded 5 goddamn times.
So I think back to what I was saying.
So you're saying that Bethesda didn't quality control their games?
No, I even reported it too.
Now, real quick, I'm gonna do a little. Oh, I'm sorry.
We're talking
about. Did Red Dead, or are we still
We're
talking
still talking
about
Red Dead? But
let's go back to Red Dead.
This is what happens when
Todd Howard pisses me off.
This is what happens when you don't play past the tutorials. You don't know what the fuck is going
on.
Real quick, I just want to defend Bethesda. You can say all you want about Fallout 76 and also maybe a little bit of Fallout 4.
I could say a lot about
Fallout
Fallout
3 was one of the best games I've ever played. Though it had issues.
That was 10 years ago.
Yeah, I know, but it was
but
still
you know
a
what
great
was even
game.
better?
Are you going to say Skyrim?
No, I'm going to say New Vegas.
Moving on.
Okay, moving on.
New Vegas is the best.
Going back to
it was pretty
Cowboy.
good.
So was Fallout 3. All right, going back to Red Dead Redemption 2.
Took time away from Rockstar.
Because apparently, finding out today, I wanted to know my hour time because shout out to Brendan for having 4 days already into a single campaign.
Jesus.
Good God.
He's a real one.
No, so am I because I have 165 hours.
Nah, Brandon's better.
Probably.
That's...
I can never get tired of the campaign. I love the campaign. I do hope Rockstar gets off their asses and stop upgrading GTA 5 and start grinding on Red Dead because I want new weapons. I want different variants. I want more Wild West guns to mess around with. Other than that, I still have huge replay value for the story. I don't think I'll ever get tired of playing in that open world. But the big problem I do have, and this is the problem I only have with the game, multiplayer. Multiplayer is still in beta. It's still dry as fuck. They haven't had an update in over a month.
Yeah, I mean, the multiplayer they released was really, really dry. It was very lax in what it... even the first Red Dead had more in it than Red Dead 2, when it came to multiplayer at least.
I heard that fishing is like the only fun thing. I heard like fishing is like the only fun thing you can do.
In Red Dead?
In
the multiplayer? Well, you can hunt too. That's actually another fun thing you can do in Red Dead Redemption Online is hunt.
But I heard like, do they do like the heist system like they did in GTA?
No, they still because there are excuses that are still in beta, and I honestly think the reason is because there's too many teams devoted to GTA and not enough devoted to Red Dead.
I'm just glad that when you went into GTA, you didn't try and discredit GTA.
I'm not trashing GTA at all.
5,
There's still a great community that has people in it.
Exactly,
but it's not their new game. It's an old game. They need to.
It's a very old game.
Yeah, they need to
6
commit
years old.
to it.
Yeah, it's almost as old as this console.
The last thing Red Dead Redemption added, and it was a month ago, was Gun Rush.
Mm-hmm.
And it was literally they hyped it as a battle royale spinoff.
Oh.
That was a month ago because that's
Gun Rush was 2 weeks ago. Their last major update was 3 to a month.
Then what's the game mode where it's like the game mode in Call of Duty where you killed someone and then you like upgrade your gun?
It's gun game.
Well, it's so in Red Dead is that if you kill
that came out.
If you kill someone with a an odd weapon like a tomahawk compared to like a shotgun, like
that came out on release.
Then what's Gun Rush?
Well, maybe I'm misreading it, but Gun Rush or whatever the newest game mode was the one that has that battle royale-esque spinoff. But it's just what I would like to make online better is I want more content. I just want I love the fact that they had you can hunt and fish and do all that and run away from people, but it's just like I want to play poker. I want to play Liar's Dice. I want to connect with people.
You want to have those little things.
Me and Chris, shout out to Brian Miller. Me and Chris, that's what we did after school. Yeah. We would meet up and we would try to teach you poker and screw each other over in Liar's Dice.
Basically, the thing for Red Dead was our GTA.
Yeah, that was it.
At that time, I don't think I was still living with my parents and my mom being my mom and me being the firstborn. I wasn't allowed to play GTA until GTA 5 came out a little bit after. I think it was Red Dead.
Same way. Yeah.
No, my brother got mad because I played GTA San Andreas.
Red Dead.
I get shit for it.
Red Dead was okay because it wasn't all about because my mom thought, oh, it was a Wild West game, when in actuality
I was also that too. I
was
convinced them it was Wild West, so I didn't.
Except it was GTA 5, but in the Wild West, because you still had prostitutes, you still had killing random people. But that was our game. Like we went in like carriages when the game didn't allow it, and we tried to move with them, and we get clotheslined.
So they had these empty carriages, and we would either try to get our horses with us on them or ourselves, and just trying to jump as they're riding. So we would just back up and just slam our bodies into the carriage.
I was never good at these open world games. I did play the first Red Dead. I got to like the point where you go after a Escuela, and then that's like all I could get through.
Oh my god!
But I played it and enjoyed it.
Halfway through.
What's up?
That's barely.
It's barely, yeah.
Yeah, that's barely halfway
I'm all aware.
through.
I do know the story, and like, to be honest, I am regretful for not finishing that game. I was also at a point where I was younger and not as skilled at video games as I decently am now.
See, we established in the last episode that it's okay to be wrong. It's completely okay, and this is more of a support group for people that are wrong.
Sisto, my motto's always is, you are entitled to your wrong opinion.
Well, thank you guys. It makes
I
me
mean,
feel a
so
little
to just wrap it up. I mean, Red Dead's gonna need more for me to want to enjoy. Like, I'm not gonna enjoy it to the extent that it should. Like, I don't know how to put this. Like, so it definitely didn't reach its potential like it could have immediately out of the gate. They obviously, I mean, for good reason, because the single player, like, it obviously had a lot of dedication.
Yeah.
Like, the most minute details have been thought out, and like it's a beautiful game. I love
the horse testicle physics are just amazing.
Yeah, that's
moving on now.
No.
I mean,
I'll do my summary too, because I want to make my point too. But go ahead.
I mean, I haven't played it as much as Mungie. I mean, I did a playthrough. I did the entire story and then the chapters afterwards. But
and I am on my third playthrough.
I can't do that. I've been too busy playing Crusader Kings. Because
the campaign is just so beautiful. Like, that's the only game I've been playing.
Yeah.
Really, besides Ace Combat. But I wanted to make my point. I consider online, when it comes to Red Dead Redemption 2, I'll consider this. There was the story, which I give it a 10 out of 10. I give the story, the open world, 10 out of 10 completely. Multiplayer, it has to improve for me to catch my attention. I will not go back on to multiplayer unless it's properly fixed.
And it will. I mean, they released that statement about a month ago, like, all of what they're planning. I mean, they're planning on removing, like, on the mini-map, you won't have dots on yourselves unless you're close enough, and stuff like that, unless you, like, make noise. And I think they're incorporating, like, poker and stuff. Is that what it said on the patch notes?
They did not hint it in the patch notes, which is still bothering me, because I hope they're not worried about the legality, because technically there should be a separate currency, and that's what you can earn in game.
Yeah, there's pay to play in that. I realize that it's stupid, but I mean,
so stop hating on just EA for this pay to play stuff and this paywall.
Yeah,
stuff.
no, Rockstar kind of Rockstar was expected. I kind of knew they would, but that's
EA
my
gets a lot of
summary.
hate for it, and rightfully so. But they're not the only company doing it.
The people on Reddit name the microtransactions as Micah transaction.
Oh my god!
Which,
if you guys wouldn't
know. Who
okay, you do know.
I do know Michael Bell. Yes.
God damn, Micah.
Anyway. So moving on, so Munchie's next topic, West Coast Avengers.
So this is the only comic book discussion I'm going to have. Sisto, have you read West Coast Avengers or heard of it?
No, I haven't. Shout out to Chris at Panther Comics, but I haven't been there in a while.
It should be on your list. You should read it.
I have to catch up on Amazing Spider-Man because Ryan Otley is my boy, so I gotta catch up with him.
Because one of my favorite comics of all time, and shout out to Brendan again for getting me into it, Matt Fraction's Hawkeye run is by far, to me, the best comic.
Yeah.
And Hawkeye is still like a great superhero to me. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna make my recommendation to West Coast Avengers because
It has.
Is this a new run or?
It is a new run. It's a new run of West Coast Avengers. It's not the '80s run.
Are we talking Squirrel Girl here?
No,
West Coast Avengers?
but you do have
The most powerful character, Squirrel Girl.
You do have some subpar, or not subpar, some like B or C
Well, give
list
me a rundown of the
superheroes.
team.
Shoot. There's Kate, Hawkgirl. Well, she's
Okay.
she's Hawkeye, but she's the other Hawkeye, the cuter Hawkeye, as she calls herself. Gwenpool.
Really?
Yeah. No. Gwenpool. You can say it's a Deadpool knockoff all you want. I want you to read it before you give your opinion.
Again, and this is where I'm going to get hit with a wrong opinion. I'm not the biggest Deadpool fan.
That's all right.
A lot of
Neither
people, I feel like
neither
a lot
was
of people
Gwenpool.
like Deadpool for the reason that it's just, I don't know.
Okay, but
I just something about him.
I'll openly say that Deadpool was super saturated when it first came out.
Exactly. It's become overrated. Whereas in the like when you see Deadpool in the comics, like holy crap, that's awesome. But now with these new Ryan Reynolds movies, it's like everybody likes.
okay,
Deadpool
but that's
now.
not Gwen Stacy, or not Gwen
No, I
Stacy.
know.
That's not her name. It's Gwen. It's
Yeah.
it's actually Gwendolyn Poole.
Yeah,
But,
but it's still it's a Deadpool-esque character.
no, it's
and
not.
I feel like
Just give it a read. It's 25 issues. It's worth a read. Before you give your opinion, I strongly advise you to do that.
I'll read one trade.
But there's her, Hawkeye, other Hawkeye, Clint Barton.
Okay.
America. She's the female, like, super strength, America Chavez, I think that's her name.
Okay. I'll give it a read.
There's a lot of C-list people, but I think it's because it's plucky and it kind of reaches like a new wave of people, because there is a lot of like diversity and whatnot into that, but at the same time it brings it together in a way that gives it my recommendation because it's so well done.
Is Plucky Bucky's son?
I hate you so much.
God.
Plucky Pluchanan, guys.
Shout out to the two people who read comics.
No, it's
Peter.
Bucky Barnes, right? I got that wrong.
No, it's Plucky Parnes.
No, but like Bucky Barnes is his name, right?
Well, his first name
I said
is
Buchanan because I'm an asshole, but
the real name. His real name is Buchanan Barnes.
really?
Yeah, Buchanan Bucky.
Wow. I made a mistake. And
I
I
thought
was
his name was
actually
James Buchanan Barnes
Oh, James Buchanan Barnes.
what I
Maybe that's
said.
where it was.
because that's a president.
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Shout out
moving
to
on.
James Buchanan. I'm not really sure what he accomplished during his presidency, but I'm
Enough
sure
to get
Oh.
a nickname for a superhero.
Enough to get a nickname to start
Alright,
a civil war.
All right, so that was my 5 minutes for comic books.
his nickname started the Civil War.
Yes.
I mean, wow.
Interesting.
I don't want to get into a history war here.
Okay, so moves us on to our next topic. For all you Nintendo Switch owners out there, as you may know, 2019 was supposed to be the year we got A, more information, and B, possibly a release of Metroid Prime 4. And for all of you who don't know, Metroid is a game with the main character named is Samus. Samus is pretty much fighting space pirates the whole time in the form of aliens, known as the Metroid aliens, led by a gangster, so to say, named Mother Brain. So in the Metroid Prime series, we see this whole genre of game and category from a first-person perspective, and it has been widely popular. Very widely popular. It was done by a company called Retro Studios, and for the past 10 years, we haven't had a game. It left off at
Has it really been that long?
like a true number game. It's been 10 years since we got Metroid Prime 3.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. So this game was way
And
overdue.
That's 2 Smashes, too.
Exactly. And this was
that's
announced-
3 Smashes, isn't it? When
Pretty
did
much.
When did Brawl come out?
2006.
Yeah.
It was one of
it
the
that
near
long
launch.
ago?
It was one
It
of
was
the original titles.
2006.
It was like almost like a launch title. Brawl was.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
been forever. So moving on, yeah, Metroid Prime has been announced since E3 2017, June 3rd. And, like I said, 10 years since the third one. But on January 25th, we saw a YouTube video regarding the update of Metroid Prime 4, which millions of people ended up watching this video.
Yeah.
Nintendo EPD General Manager Shinya Takahashi. He's the and EPD stands for Entertainment Planning and Development. So this is pretty much what this guy talks on, basically any project that's in the works.
Yeah.
So Shinya comes on and he basically talks about how Metroid isn't at the state where they wanted it to be. There are
That
bugs
sucks.
that they couldn't fit and they couldn't fix. And with their AAA team, this is all in-house they're doing it.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people were a little like up in air about how they felt about it, because Retro Studios, this game series is a classic.
Yeah.
So basically, so it was set to release this year, and it wasn't following the timeline that Nintendo set down. So basically what they said is, we're going to scrap this game. Like, we want to give you, the fans, what you've waited 10 years for, which is very honorable. I want to say that Nintendo, you did a great thing by actually wanting to give us a game that's complete.
So it's Retro's who's slacking. It's not Nintendo.
No. That's the part.
Okay.
Retro Studios had nothing to do with the game at this point. This was all Nintendo was doing this game in-house.
Yeah.
However, Nintendo announced in this video that they were going to be giving it back to Retro Studios to do. So Retro Studios can continue the game in their vision. So which is the second most popular point. So this video was very well received by Metroid fans and Nintendo fans in general, because this is supposed to be that next AAA party game. It's supposed to be that next, Mario Odyssey, that next Breath of the Wild. That's going to make you play a lot of time on this game.
I haven't played any. I think the only Nintendo IP that I played with I haven't played any of the what are the ones with Marth in
Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem. I haven't played any of them. I mean, I want to.
Very good game series.
A few of our friends praise it constantly. So, but I don't think I really have a means to play it.
I remember playing Awakening, and I fell in love with the game. I played over 100 hours of Fire Emblem Awakening. Played the story over probably 2 or 3 times, and it's a decently repetitive game too.
Yeah,
it's a repetitive game. Not much changes throughout the game, but it's really fun, and it's a really you play at your own pace. The game really doesn't get any more difficult. It's kind of the difficulty you set it on, it stays at that difficulty, at least for my experiences. But yeah, like I said, a lot of YouTubers as well have been, that really do cover Switch very heavily. They've been, agreeing with this decision. So a lot of the culture behind this decision has been very positive, and Nintendo seems to be on the right track here they made a good decision. And in an age where these companies put out these games to meet shareholder expectations.
Yeah.
Like Bethesda, Rockstar, they listen to their shareholders quite frequently regarding how they put out games. Bethesda especially, EA, BioWare, EA especially, again, they put out games because they have to meet quarter deadlines, to beat their earnings per share markings. You see EA put out Battlefield 5, they had to put it out. And the game wasn't nearly complete yet.
I haven't tried Battlefield 5.
I'll be honest, Battlefield 5's a great game. I played it. Yeah. But there's a lot that I wish was in there that's not in there yet, and I feel like that's what hurt EA
because
these past quarters.
I loved it. I thought it was
Battlefield 1 is a phenomenal game. And
it's
re-sparked a whole interest in the Great War.
Yeah.
And which is reached this year the 100th anniversary.
Yeah, it was it was last year, I think.
Yeah, and Battlefield 1 was such a big community that they had people that were in lobbies in the middle of games during the time where they signed the treaty. I think was it the Treaty of Paris or
it was the Treaty of Paris.
Treaty of Paris. At the time where the Treaty of Paris was signed, all players had a ceasefire. They stopped playing in honor of the Treaty of Paris.
That's dedication, man. Which
game is this?
Battlefield 1.
Battlefield 1.
That is dedication to a community right there.
What actually, and I'm back roped into this topic, the online game that was on Steam, it made its console debut a couple years ago. Verdun. Mm-hmm. Have you heard of Verdun?
I've played it. Yeah.
It was a World War I trench simulator that was
it's essentially it's Battlefield 1. I mean, it
was Battlefield 1 before it was Battlefield 1.
It's a lot more realistic
because you could only assault once the whistle was blown. You had to defend if you weren't on the one assaulting. It was very well detailed, but here's the kicker: during the holiday season, in between fights there was a ceasefire. So you got to meet and talk with the enemy players and actually play a game of soccer.
Oh, that's cute.
So I thought it was adorable. You could also have snowball fights.
They actually did that during World War One.
That's actually what happened.
And what they say is that's actually one of the reasons why the war started to end around that time, because people went, why are we fighting them? They're fighting for the same thing that we are.
It took 2 weeks for officers to convince their troops to start shooting at each other again.
Yeah. Because war at that point was still like a gentleman's type thing.
Well, I mean, even like in World War One, people were so confused as to why they were using chemical warfare.
Yeah,
it was so a conflict of leaders rather than the conflict of people.
Yeah.
Contrary to like World War II, like we knew the shit that was going on.
Yeah.
Like we were like, we need to be over there. We need to fight, especially after we were attacked.
Exactly.
But like the French and the Germans, they were just like it was the two kings. You know, and the English, like it was a conflict between kings. It was still like colonial medieval kind of warfare where they were sent to the front lines to fight.
Well, Kaiser made an alliance with whoever was in charge of, I think,
Kaiser Wilhelm.
Kaiser Wilhelm, who was Franz Ferdinand's uncle, that was the leader of his country.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah,
we're gonna get
Kaiser Wilhelm was tactical allies with that person. So when Franz Ferdinand was murdered, he's like, "Look, I want to start a war with these guys. You back me up, Kaiser." And Kaiser's like, "Yeah, sure. I want to expand." Like
that's exactly what happened. He went.
Exactly.
Kaiser was like,
I kind of want to expand.
I'm down.
He's like, "Go ahead, you attack."
I'm outside.
Like, I don't mind. But moving on, these game companies nowadays, they really try to hit those shares, and it's good to see Nintendo, who is actually another publicly traded company, care more about their consumers. And one of our friends was talking about this.
Nintendo doesn't care. No. Where's Waluigi? Waluigi has yet to come up yet.
I'm gonna move.
I just got the worst.
Animal Crossing when?
I just got the worst dead eyes from Sisto, and I'm just like, oh.
All right.
Look,
So
I'm mad Waluigi is not in this game in Super Smash Brothers. I am very mad because why do I want to play it with him in Mario Kart when I could when I want to play with him in Smash Brothers? Like,
the world needs more wah now more than ever.
I've been seeing Waluigi in a lot of communist memes. I think it's pretty funny.
I've seen a lot of Gritty in communist
I see this one kid at my school wear a friggin' Waluigi hat. Like,
is it because he looks like Karl Marx and that's why Gritty is getting communist?
Yeah, he looks like a communist. Yeah.
Great, we just lost our communist view score.
I also saw one of a guillotine with anime eyes and was like, "Get between hungies for billionaires." And I was
all right.
Sorry. Anyway, not saying that's my political belief. I thought it was funny. Anywho, we're fine. Just
okay. All right, I'm trying to be Freddy from iCarly over here. All right, so
I had a dream about iCarly last night. It was
no. We're not bringing up that.
I'm not talking about that one rapper that was. I forget who it was. It was like, I want to fuck iCarly.
Can we? No, we're cutting this.
We're
cutting this.
Hey, Microsoft plans for Xbox Live?
We have 3 different cold opens
what's
now.
your plans for
I gotta explain my dream now because now I feel like a weirdo.
I'm throwing him off the mic.
I had a dream.
You're already a weirdo. Go on.
It was from a third person perspective. It was just
We're
an
about
episode.
To lose any bit of
No, it wasn't weird. It wasn't even like it wasn't
Sounds
distorted.
pretty weird, man.
But it was just like from perspective of an episode. It was just like ran like I was watching television. That's probably what it just was.
You sitting on the couch like Beavis and Butthead.
The psychology behind that is that you've been actively thinking of iCarly, and that's why you're having a dream.
I was watching a lot of Dan Snyder type show. Like I watched Drake and Josh, and I watched iCarly recently. Like, I mean, those shows were popular when I was young, so that's like know, I loved iCarly. I'll openly say, like Spencer Shea is my dude.
What do you got there?
A smoothie.
Okay. Those memes were amazing.
So we're talking about Sisto's plans for Xbox.
So Microsoft. So Microsoft is
Microsoft,
as we know, does make the Xbox.
Do they?
So yes.
Do they?
So they plan to move Xbox Live into more platforms. It's just a teaser that was announced. They're trying to move it more integration with iOS, Android, and even Switch. Which is the biggest thing there is they want to move Xbox Live to Nintendo
I'm
Switch.
just choking on his water right now.
So while not much is known about this, the upcoming Game Developers Conference, which is in March. You all right? Was Microsoft your trigger word or something?
Mike, I'm so sorry. I just choked on an ice cube.
And now you're covered in boo-boos? But anyway, so, March 18th is when the Game Developers Conference starts, and that's when Microsoft's going to announce their big plans for Xbox Live. This is pretty big because you might be able, this could go to the extent where Microsoft has plans to being able to play their games through the cloud on any device.
Ooh.
The clouds you're talking about in Ace Combat?
Yes, those clouds. But no, Microsoft's cloud capabilities are very good.
That'd be the one-up that they actually have on PlayStation.
Exactly. Which a lot of people don't see when they think of Xbox is all the potential that they do have. A lot of people just see that they don't have first-party games with good storylines, whereas PlayStation does. They don't think about all the stuff that Microsoft can do that Sony necessarily hasn't capitalized on yet. But I just wanted to see what you guys would think about the upsides of Xbox Live going on to other platforms that aren't your Xbox. So
I think it's going to... I definitely think cross-platform gaming is definitely going to be a thing that's going to be happening soon, but that also it's going to be weird because other consoles are going to need to find ways to appeal to their audiences more because of that. Since why would I need to get a Xbox if I can just if I can play with my friends when they all have PlayStation, I can just buy. I won't have to buy a PlayStation.
Well, Microsoft also plans on. Did you hear about their next console generation is going to be 2 different systems? They're going to have one that's like that Xbox One X type thing where you play hardcore games in 4K and all of them are native 4K. But the other one's going to be you can play any game from the cloud. That's their plans. It's like a game streaming console.
I think graphics are somewhat important in the game. I don't want it to be the main theme. I'll go back to Red Dead. Yeah, Red Dead is beautiful, and I'm sure in 4K it's even more beautiful. But you can have amazing graphics and still be a bad game.
Battlefield?
Yes.
Fallout 76?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with what you're trying to say.
Okay. Do you have any more? Do you have to say on
No,
Xbox?
that's all. We'd also like to hear what you guys think, the audience. If you guys have any input, just send us a DM. Put it in the comment section on YouTube. Just let us know.
I just got a tweet that just said "suck it." So so
I don't want any
now
DMs,
this is going to be. There's
pictures of Spider-Man.
This is going to be a fair warning here. There's going to be some yelling in this because now we're on the Assassin's Creed part of our discussion.
So,
and hold on, I got to crack. I just hit the table. I'm going to crack my knuckles for this one. All right.
All right. So I tried to write a little bit of a monologue. So if any of you heard, Ubisoft announced that Assassin's Creed 3, a game where Native American assassin Connor Kenway goes through the American Revolution, seeking revenge against the Templar men and women who burned down his tribe. The game will be running on 4K and Ultra HD. Assassin's Creed 3 was the first game from Ubisoft after many successful games coming out of Ezio Auditore, located in the Italian Renaissance around the 1500s. The games were really successful, however, with Assassin's Creed 3, there seemed to be a lot of mixed reviews. A lot of people said that they really did enjoy it, but there were a lot of people who also said that they didn't enjoy it because it didn't feel the same as the Ezio collection.
I didn't enjoy it.
So here's my rebuttal for that. The mixed reviews, I honestly love the game. I think it's because I'm biased because of the historical reasons, and I think that's why Mike is too.
Oh yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great.
It's also why I think, despite the Auditore collection, I think Black Flag was the best Assassin's Creed game.
Oh yeah, hands down.
For pirate reasons.
Mm-hmm. But the thing with Black Flag is that it didn't feel like an Assassin's game.
That was also the thing that that Mungie said. He said that it was quoted a terrible Assassin's game, but it was a fantastic
It was the
best
pirate game
Well,
I've ever played.
I didn't get it because it would have been so. Edward was the assassin.
Yeah, Edward.
Right?
Edward Kenway.
He discovers the assassins later in the game, probably 2/3 in.
By fucking killing a guy.
Yeah, but but beforehand he has all these assassin moves that he's been training for years and years and years.
No, it's not. It's literally because he had to ad-lib it. There's literally a mission where you're ad-libbing trying to kill people.
And the truth is, though, like, somebody did a comparison footage to, like, old Assassin agents. He is fucking brutal and, like, sloppy in a way. It was compared to, like, when Ezio was training. And that's when he trained those assassinations when he first got the blade. It is similar to how Edward fought. Yeah. So it was because he had the fucking ad-lib. And the climbing was an easy excuse because, like, oh, well, you know, I'm a sailor. Every finger's a fish hook. That's literally what he says as he's climbing, like, a bell tower.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's just because that was like the same with like the newer ones where it's now pre-Assassin's Order, and they're like they're doing all these assassin type moves, and it's like even an Odyssey. Like I've been playing Odyssey. I'm not too big of a fan. I haven't been a fan since Black Flag.
Yeah.
And like he's doing all these assassin type moves. He's like stealth killing, which stealth killing I can everyone kind of know that's understandable.
But in Origins, assassins didn't train the surfboard down the pyramids. That was a gift. I also have a screen cap.
What?
I also have a screen cap with Origins that basically sums it up, because apparently you go from like a river to like the desert in like a snap instant. So apparently I got chased by a hippo. And I was just like, how far can this hippo follow me? So I went like 2 dunes over till the pyramids were in view. And I'm going to put this on the page because I love this so much, because it was literally just a hippo charging at me while I have like a spear against it. And in the background is a pyramid. And it's just all desert. But we're going back. We're trailing off. From?
It's just funny because how Ubisoft at the end was like, in the beginning is like talking about how this is supposed to be historically accurate and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, what didn't you honestly like about AC3? It's gonna be a while. I'm gonna buy it because I want to replay it.
Thinking about it, I actually really did wholeheartedly enjoy Assassin's Creed 3, because after 3 games of Ezio Auditore, which were amazing, I felt like I needed a fresh start, and I feel like with Connor, it was almost like he wasn't even an assassin at first. Like,
I think the point of that isn't being an assassin at birth, because that's what Ezio was. Ezio wasn't an assassin at birth.
Yeah.
I think the point is finding a character before you find the order.
And the thing was that Connor wasn't an assassin. He was only an assassin because he utilized the resources given to him to go after the Templars.
Yeah, but then he was also trained by an old assassin. One of the last few on the East Coast.
Yeah, it was Achilles.
Achilles, yes.
And if you've ever played Assassin's Creed Rogue, you learn that. And that's actually something that in Assassin's Creed Rogue, Shay Cormac did. He was an assassin that had the help of the Templars to hunt the other assassins, because the assassins went rogue with their ideals. Yep. And he even like talked about how he didn't want to be a Templar, but he needed to use their resources as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to be satisfied with the Assassin's game until they're out of antiquity. Like,
yeah,
I can see them doing another one where it's in Rome. I'll give it a shot. Yeah, I like, if you could have in not even medieval Rome, just ancient Rome, like actual Roman Empire, I think that'd be cool. Mm-hmm. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me.
I'm sorry. What I would have probably did was that I would bundle them together. For instance, and do like an America's Collection, how they did. I forget what they did. They actually did an America's Collection, but the America's Collection...
they had one where it was the French and Indian War.
Yeah, it was really insignificant, but I think the one that they should have did was they should have bundled Assassin's Creed 3, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and Assassin's Creed Rogue. Because they hyped up Assassin's Creed Rogue.
That would have been a great continuation story, because Connor does mention in... the George Washington DLC, which is also another reason I love the game, because we had the tyrant George Washington and he got to beat up Ben Franklin.
Yeah.
That's funny. But and also the Assassin's Creed 3 gave credit to calling Paul Revere a pussy.
Yeah.
Because remember how fucking annoying the Paul Revere mission was, because he was just whining the whole time? Yeah. That's historically accurate.
Shout out to Paul Revere.
Yeah.
But
fuck you.
I really enjoyed the game though, because it showed how rogue Connor was, because like I think like Washington double crossed him, and he was
because he picked up the apple of Eden.
Yeah. it was I think Connor even said, if I come back and you're still doing whatever you're doing, after I'm done killing the Templar, I'm gonna kill you myself. Yeah. And like he just went, yeah, okay.
And then after all of that, you end up playing bocce with George Washington.
Yeah. So I thought it was interesting because then also you see the formation of a character, because he was completely like dead-eyed. He was completely immune to feeling an emotion, and he didn't care. And then at the end, he was I forget what wedding he was at. He was either at a wedding or a birthday celebration.
No, he was at because that's the other thing I liked Assassin's Creed 3. You got to build a community.
Oh yeah, and they all invite
once you beat the community. You and I made it a point from the mission to change into my captain's uniform, because it would, whatever you wore, it would show on the preview. So I dressed up in my captain's uniform specifically to walk that woman down the aisle. Yeah. For her to get married, and it was such a heartwarming scene.
And I think that was something that was really nice, and especially with Black Flag. All of you know this, but the audience doesn't know this. In 2014, I had like the flu for like a week, and I binged all of Black Flag, and I played it day and night, and that ending made me bawl my eyes out. Because it was just a combination of the setting, the ending, the credits started rolling,
and you're sailing into the sunset talking to your daughter.
Yeah, and you realize that that's Hatham too, and it works amazing. Not the daughter, but the son. But all in all, I think it's interesting, but I don't think that. I feel like it's going to be a money grab. I feel like with Assassin's Creed 3...
Oh, yeah. No, it is exactly a money grab. And they're going to take my money because I'm going to buy the game.
But if they really wanted it to be something that was like wholehearted, they should have did Assassin's Creed 3, Assassin's Creed Rogue, and Black Flag all bundled together, just like the Ezio collection.
I think it's because they wouldn't get any... Here's the thing. They released that bundle... It's going to be called, oh, well, they already remastered this and this. I mean, hindsight's 2020. Maybe they should have done it in a bundle, but now you can't because Rogue's on PS4 and so is Black Flag.
Yeah, I think they messed up a lot with Rogue because they hyped it up and then it was just like, oh, it's just a digital release. It's like, people like me, like, I don't like doing digital releases.
See, that's all I have.
Like, I can't, for some reason.
I have 4 digital copies and I have 100 games on my PS4.
Like, I don't know. I feel weird about it. But all in all, like, I'll probably end up getting it because I'm an assassin.
So, in future Assassin's Creed, given to the fact that hopefully it doesn't end within the next game, what setting would you guys want it to be in? Because I would forever love the series if... What's up?
I just had a great idea for what I would want to do.
What?
Russian Revolution.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Right? Right, because you have that World War I aspect that people have been wanting, and then you get Russia.
Yeah, I think that'd be interesting.
I would be interested, and I told you guys this, the concept of a Cold War one, where it's basically you're a spy, you're also an assassin, and you're basically hired by like a completely underground black operative, Black Ops type setting, where not only you kill the Russians, but you also kill the Americans.
Yeah, no, I would love a Russian one because I don't want like an elegant like jump from a pillar with the blade and go into the guy's throat. No, I want Vladimir bawling out through a window with a hand axe.
So if we do a Cold War one, we were discussing before the podcast a few days ago that I would see it like established in Berlin, like in the 50s. Like when it's just being divided and the walls going up, like because
there's a lot of stories when the wall went up, like people sneaking through underground sewers and whatnot in order to relocate with their families, and that'd be it'd be tough because the wall going up wasn't really a kill count. I think there needs to be a step into the modern era for Assassin's Creed. I don't think Cold War is it. Eventually it will be, but that's not the step.
I feel like it's kind of
the step would be World War I.
It's kind of how Call of Duty is going into futuristic, and at first it was like, oh, okay, Advanced Warfare, that's a good idea, but now they're just constantly milking off of it, and I feel like that's what they're doing now with Assassin's Creed, because we did Origins, and it's like, oh, this is great, but then Odyssey, they're almost felt a little incomplete.
They need to go into the modern era.
Yeah, if they go into the modern era, because look at look at it this way: if you're an assassin with a blade, just a blade, and maybe a pistol, because obviously most assassins don't carry around big bulky guns with them.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to deal with people with rifles, and with a lot of the games in the past, stealth wasn't really that. You didn't really have to do it. But if now you just have a blade and a pistol, and you have an entire palace filled with people with M16s, stealth is going to be your only option.
That's also why I liked Black Flag, because you didn't need stealth. If I boarded a ship, I had a fucking blunderbuss and 4 goddamn pistols, and I was gonna use them.
Yeah, and that was something I really enjoyed with Deus Ex when it came out. It was a while ago.
So you're thinking of more of a Deus?
I want a heavy. It's Deus Ex.
Deus Ex.
Yeah.
Deus.
Oh my god.
It's Deus Ex.
I want more.
Deus Ex.
I just want more emphasis on the stealth aspect of Assassin's Creed.
But that would be going back to the classics. You are right, but the thing is though, stealth was a big thing in Syndicate. You didn't have to be like this big broad thing in Syndicate. Black Flag was the only one where it's just I didn't have to be stealthy unless it was
because,
mission
like you
critical.
said, it wasn't a really good Assassin's Creed game.
It wasn't
an
Assassin's
Creed
game.
Pirate game.
It was me roping and then gutting a guy with 2 swords and then firing 4 times.
When you think of an Assassin's Creed game, you don't really think of boarding ships with a blunderbuss.
You think you think of sitting in front of your TV with your jaws clenched, trying to kill some guy.
Yeah.
Well, so what I would like to see is that a World War II, if they could make one about World War II, it definitely could work, because even canonically, Hitler is killed by assassins. So it just
technically, yeah.
Well, canonically in Assassin's Creed, he's killed by assassins.
And so they even have the story for it to happen. It could be it can happen. And I mean, it's so with Assassin's Creed, at least historically, it has all the deaths of the individuals that are actual people in the game. They actually were, they died during that time.
Yeah,
that was a big point in Assassin's Creed 3. Every person you kill was a real person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing that if Assassin's Creed does branch off into alternate history, that's fine with me. Because I mean, it already did with King Washington, but that was DLC. It wasn't canon.
And there was even some people with that were just hey, that's disrespectful to history, and it's
because
Washington...
they were having an argument because George Washington discovered that there was this powerful weapon that Connor was hiding. They get in an argument, George holds it, and then they're just brought into the reality Connor was warning about.
Yeah.
And for some reason, once he killed George, he killed the link into predicting this future. Because the Apple of Eden is a bullshit tech. They'll do anything the plot allows, basically.
Yeah.
The one thing I would want to see from Assassin's Creed is a World War I or a turn of the century based.
Definitely
one.
World War I. That's why I want to bring up, because the plot to do that would be definitely Russian Revolution.
Yeah.
Definitely
Unity, the concept of Unity would have had so much potential, but it was a terrible game.
It was a dumpster fire.
It was incomplete. The story was way too quick. It was not good, but it had the potential to be something.
I would also like to see. I would like to see something that's very Japanese-esque.
Ninjas.
I would
or feudal Japan would be cool.
That I would like to see.
I think they
even the expansion of the Mongol Empire.
That'd be kind of cool,
because they repeatedly tried to invade Japan, and now historically the reason they never got into Japan is because both attempts they were taken out by typhoons.
Yeah.
But
which usually happens.
Yeah, but Assassin's Creed can definitely manipulate that.
You're on a ship made by the Apple of Eden, and you're just
they definitely could make Genghis Khan a Templar, since they're all for unity through
pillaging.
Strength. But
But
right, well, to sum it up, last thoughts, Assassin's Creed. I kind of made my last
bundle
thoughts.
it would have been good.
Yeah.
Black Flag is the greatest one.
Never played one.
All right. Well, anyway, so I think it's time to wrap it up, boys. We're nearing the end of episode 2.
And so the end is near. And so I face my final curtain.
Anyway, So what's coming up?
What is coming up? One of the biggest release weeks in video games this year.
What's that?
Far Cry 5.
Oh.
Metro Exodus. And Anthem.
Oh,
February 15th.
I'm so excited.
They all drop on February 15th.
Also, the Grammys are next week, so we'll definitely be
No, it's this weekend. It's today. Tonight.
No, that's the
the Grammys.
no, that's the
You're talking about the Oscars, aren't you?
Oscars. Did I say Grammys?
You said Grammys are tonight.
Yeah,
Oscars.
Oscars next week.
Are we having a watch party? Do we want to do a choose your character watch party? Or are we not?
No, I think it'll be because we there's no way we could have that audio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll cut.
No,
okay, we'll snip this
Fair
out.
enough.
So I guess next week we'll have 3 great video games to talk about. We'll also talk about the what was it again?
The Oscars.
Yeah, the Oscars.
We'll talk about the. I'm personally going to watch the show. We'll discuss, what we thought about the people that won the show entirely, because it's different since they now don't have a host since Kevin Hart backed down. So it'll be interesting the way they're going to handle it. So I think we're going to have a pretty packed show coming up. So I'm excited. So thanks for watching. I'm Marcucci. Or thanks for listening, not watching. I'm Marcucci.
I'm Mungie.
I'm Sisto.
And I'm the only Chris.
And QDMP.
Thanks for listening. Have a good one.